Hey, Kage back again. Today we're gonna talk about the Unity situation that they changed their pricing module. So let's get into this article first. The San Francisco-based company intends to soon start imposing a so-called runtime fee on some of its clients. The charge is named after Unity Runtime, an executable that's downloaded alongside every game powered by Unity. As such, the fee will be calculated based on the total number of installs for any given title above an arbitrary success threshold, with the price of a singular download ranging from 0.005 USD for enterprise accounts in emerging markets to 0.20 for personal and plus plans. The announcement prompted widespread backlash from game developers, many of whom argued that the change could easily result in exorbitant pricing due to everything from video game piracy and repeated downloads driven by bad actors to more innocuous things like reinstalls and giveaways. Now, in my opinion, this pricing that they made change to is gonna hurt a lot of companies, which in turn could actually close some companies down unless they change their game engines. And I don't usually hope for the bad things for a company, but at this rate, people should just find an alternative to Unity. In all honesty, Unity might be one of the best on the market, but someone should just rise up from take over their spot. Because with this pricing system, it's gonna be just a hell pit for developers, especially indie devs. But we'll see how it goes. I already know that some people are switching to, some indie devs are switching to like Gogot Engine and stuff for their certain type of games. More will follow suit, most definitely, because this is ridiculous. Well, let's continue with the article. Unity subsequently took to social media in an attempt to clarify its price hike plans, insisting that less than 10% of its customers will be affected by the change by virtue of being above the fixed success threshold set by the company. For context, Unity Personal and Pro accounts will begin incurring download-based fees as soon as they reach 200,000 in revenue over a 12-month period, or 200,000 in lifetime installs, with those thresholds being 5 times larger for Pro and Enterprise plans priced at $2,040 and $3,000 per year respectively. Unity also said that charity and web-based games will be exempt from the charges. Ditto for any repeated and fraudulent installs, although it is unclear how the company intends to track those downloads and differentiate them from their legitimate counterparts, which was one of the key concerns previously outlined by many developers. While Unity's definition of fraudulent installations presumably includes pirated content, distinguishable illegitimate copies of games on an engine level isn't always feasible. One frequently cited example of that issue in the developer community is how the company has no realistic means of differentiating between legitimate and pirated copies of Unity Power games bought from a DRM-free platform like GOG or GOG. Given this state of affairs, many game studios are now threatening to drop Unity. The engine maker's C-suit was seemingly under no illusions about how unpopular this move would prove to be, as underlined by the fact that Unity CEO sold a substantial amount of his vested stock in the run-up to the new business model announcement. The controversial pricing changes are planned to go into effect on January 1st, 2024. Ain't that a good way? Dude saved his own ass and just gonna drop this shit now on everyone else. I do really hope for once that everybody stops using Unity, and that's that. It will suck for the employees that are just working there and following the CEO's lead, but these type of changes deserve for the companies to just burn down. It's atrocious. Now there's another article where it talks about companies striking back at Unity for this. So I'll read that one as well. The game developers affected by Unity's new pricing model are striking back. A collective of developers across 19 companies, mostly based in Europe and mostly developing mobile games, has put out an open letter urging Unity to reverse course on its recently announced pricing model changes. The letter contains some of the same sentiments expressed by other developers this week, but with one big twist. Essentially, these companies, which represent thousands of games with billions of downloads, have blocked Unity from making any more money in their games. Some of the companies represented in the letter include Voodoo.io, Azure Games, and Say Games, with each claiming over 100 games. Nice one. It's nice. I like this because people have to resist this, otherwise nothing will change. And this is not just bad in the sense that yeah, they're gonna charge you now for all this stuff, but it's bad in a sense that the developers will have to now focus more on the monetization part instead of immersing themselves in the game development. It's like they won't provide as immersive gameplay no more, but will more focus on something like monetization. So you're gonna get EA and Ubisoft everywhere, but there's gonna be a game full of microtransactions, and that's all you're gonna get. A base line for a game that's not even that interesting, full with microtransactions. I really hope that they reverse this decision, but I highly doubt it. And if they don't reverse it, then I hope everybody just switches away from Unity, those that can switch from Unity and have other options. They should lose a lot of fucking money for this stupidness of theirs. Now let's continue the article, but there have been numerous messages from developers urging the company to reverse course. Others have threatened to never use Unity again or port their existing projects to other game engines. This collective action from developers represents the next escalation in the fight between Unity and its users. At the heart of the matter is the news that Unity will update its pricing structure to charge developers for each installation of Unity's games after specific download revenue thresholds are met. Yeah, that's kind of what I read in the other article. Beyond monetary concerns, developers are also angry because the new pricing represents a breach of transparency Unity established with regards to its terms of service. It is common for companies to often change the terms of service and terminate agreements based on TOS violations. In 2019, Unity did just that, terminating the license for software company Improbable, citing TOS violations. The action caused outcry in the community, and in response, Unity reinstated Improbable's license and committed to keeping users informed for future terms of service changes. In a blog post in 2019, Unity wrote, "When you obtain a version of Unity and don't upgrade your project, we think you should be able to stick to that version of the TOS." That statement is reflected in a version of Unity's TOS from March 2022. Unity may update these Unity software additional terms at any time for any reason and without notice. If the updated terms adversely impact your rights, you may elect to continue to use any current year version of the Unity software, according to the terms that I applied just prior to the updated terms. So that would mean, if a previous version you had of Unity, and they made a new change for the next version per se, this pricing system, yeah, then you would not need to pay the terms for the pricing, but that's not exactly how it goes. Moreover, in that 2019 blog, Unity stated that it would track changes to the terms of service on GitHub to give developers full transparency about what changes are happening and when. Except this time, because they didn't. Nobody knew it until it pretty much launched. However, Unity has since deleted that GitHub repository, and back in April 2023 introduced a new terms of service agreement that removed the clause that allowed for developers to use all.tos while introducing a new clause that seemed to suggest the new controversial runtime fees were on the way. So essentially, if before you could use the previous version if you didn't agree with the next version's terms, now it doesn't matter, because now this shit applies for everything. Unless I'm misunderstanding something. So either way, you're screwed. Subject to payment of applicable fees, if any, you may distribute the Unity runtime as an integrated part of your project, solely as embedded or incorporated into your projects, and solely to third parties to whom you license or sell your projects or who provide you with services, in each case pursuant to an agreement that is no less protective of Unity and its licenses and its service providers than this agreement. In this video game development, it is common to lock in specific versions of a game engine. Theoretically, developers unhappy with the new fees could have simply locked in a previous version of the Unity engine and avoid them, and Unity's own terms of service would have supported that. But with this change, seemingly made in the contravention of Unity's own stated goals of transparency, anyone using a current version of Unity has seemingly agreed to these runtime fees before they were even announced. Exactly. Everyone has to obey these new rules now. It's pretty ridiculous what Unity has done. I do hope that there will be new engines that people can turn to, because this is not consumer friendly whatsoever. Changes on the fly. People didn't even have time to think about it or anything. It's just gonna happen very soon. It is completely ridiculous to have something like this happen. I mean, if they're trying to run their company to the ground, and they're doing a great job, but I guess the CEO already knew this would happen, since he already sold his stock and now he doesn't care. He probably has all the money he needs for fucking retirement, so now he's gonna just screw over everybody else that's left in the company. A lot of times there are people in the CEO position that don't even deserve them. Fucking ridiculous. But that will be all for me today. I'll see you guys next time.